All right, the first assignment today, we're going to talk about the shapes of distributions. The question is, what is the shape of the distribution shown below? Three options, whether it's left-tailed, approximately symmetrical, or the distribution is right-tailed. Here's a quick little synopsis for you. What you see in front of you is a symmetrical distribution, right? Right somewhere in the middle, we have the average, which we call the mean, the median, the mode, usually exists somewhere in here. If it is symmetrical, that is, right? These two outside parts are what we call the tail. So we have a tail on the right and a tail on the left. If the data looks like this, we can see that this side over here is, let me get a highlighter, all of this here, this is an example of a right-tailed distribution because the tail is on the right. This is his tail on the left. That's left-tailed. All right, so really quick, going back to the question, we can see that it's not really symmetrical. It's not a tail on the left and right. We only see that it has, generally speaking, it only has a tail this way. Right, so this is a right-tailed distribution. Okay, next assignment we're going to look at is this one. Which of the following are accurate descriptions of the distribution below? The distribution has a peak at 41 years. Let's take a look because it could be all answers here, right? The distribution has a peak at 41. Let's look down below. 41, yes, right here is the peak at 41. It sure is, right? We take a look, the highest point on there is 41. There we go, right? How about letter B? The distribution has a cluster from 47 to 49. When they talk about a cluster, it's talking about a group that is away, separated by a gap, right? We can see right in here is a gap in between 44 and 47. That means after that gap, we have ourselves a cluster right here. So that is also correct. One other term you need to know is an outlier, right? So watch this. For this assignment. Let's say, for example, this is way down here at 20, and then there's a lonely little dot down here. We would call that dot, really far away from everything, an outlier. Later on, we'll work on specifically what is a good definition of an outlier, but for now, we're just generally speaking, we're looking at, is this point far away from everything else? Okay. If there's multiple points, we call it a cluster. If there's a single point, we call it an outlier.